An IDF official called the Iran war one big failure, without removing its enriched uranium. Is Israel quietly admitting the war has been futile, with the nuclear threat still intact? Is Iran sitting on enough enriched uranium to build around 11 nuclear bombs if it chooses to go all the way? Is Tehran hiding roughly 400 kilograms of uranium enriched close to bomb grade, beyond full international oversight? Are the US and its foes about to launch a global treasure hunt to find and remove every last bit of Iran's enriched uranium? An unnamed IDF official warned that the recent war with Iran will be one big failure if Tehran's stockpile of enriched uranium is not removed from the country. The comments referred to Iran's alleged stockpile of over 400 kilograms of uranium enriched to around 60%, a level just below weapons grade. Israeli officials say this amount of 60% enriched uranium could be enough for roughly 11 nuclear bombs if it were further enriched to weapons grade levels. They argue that any peace agreement must include a concrete arrangement to ship Iran's enriched uranium out of the country or otherwise remove it under international supervision. The IDF official, on the condition of anonymity, said, quote, "If the nuclear objective is not achieved, then everything we did in Iran will be one big failure. The evil Iranian regime can pounce on the nuclear program. If the uranium is removed from Iran through diplomatic means, we have done our part. However, if that does not happen, Israel would need to launch another operation in Iran to achieve the objective." Unquote. Iran, for its part, continues to insist that its nuclear program is purely peaceful, even though it has previously enriched uranium to near-weapon levels in defiance of Western concerns. On April 29, U.S. War Secretary Pete Hegseth reiterated that Washington believes Iran is still pursuing nuclear weapons, despite U.S. claims of having obliterated key nuclear facilities.
Was Iran moving precipitously towards nuclear weapons capability, Mr. Secretary?
Even after the obliteration of Midnight Hammer, what was clear is that the intention of Iran remained in the pursuit of nuclear weapons. And after, as hard as they were hit by Israel, it created an opportunity to get rid of the conventional shield. That's why we talked about missile production and the Navy and the defense industrial base, to set them back from blackmailing the region and the world in pursuit of nuclear weapons, because we understood how much they could continue to pursue them.
Iran's enriched uranium stockpile has emerged as a central issue in global power rivalry, increasingly shaping sanctions, negotiations, and security calculations between major powers. The United States, Russia, and China are all seeking roles in its future control, experts say, with each power pushing different proposals on where the material goes and who supervises it. Tehran had firmly said on April 19 that its uranium will not be handed over to the US, stressing that enriched material will remain under Iranian control and will not be transferred abroad. Despite that, Trump has claimed US and Iran were nearing a deal to recover the uranium, suggesting ongoing talks on removing significant quantities of enriched material from Iran. Trump described the material as nuclear dust, which he said would be recovered soon, using this term for buried enriched uranium that he claims could be dug up and removed. The American president said both sides would jointly excavate and transfer it to the US, outlining a plan in which US and Iranian teams would together locate, dig out, and ship the uranium. US considered releasing $20 billion in frozen Iranian assets if Tehran gave up its uranium, Axios reported, indicating a possible swap of nuclear material for financial relief. Trump strongly denied the reports, saying it's totally false, no money is changing hands, rejecting any suggestion of a cash-for uranium arrangement. For weapon-grade use, uranium must be enriched by boosting concentration of the uranium-235 isotope, typically raising U-235 levels to around 90% purity. US estimates say that Iran has about 450 kilograms uranium enriched to about 60%, as per reports, a volume of highly enriched material that significantly shortens potential breakout time. This stockpile is sensitive because it is close to weapons-grade enrichment of about 90%, meaning it would require comparatively less further processing to reach bomb grade. Iran also reportedly holds around 1,000 kilograms uranium enriched to 20% purity, which can be further enriched if the decision and capacity are applied. Another 8,500 kilograms is enriched to about 3.6% for civilian use, according to reports, forming the bulk of Iran's low-enriched reactor-grade uranium. However, Iran maintains that its nuclear program is solely for peaceful purposes, stating that all enrichment supports energy production and medical or industrial needs. But US wants Iran's uranium removed to block potential nuclear weapon development, arguing that as long as large enriched stockpiles remain, the risk of weaponization persists. Amid this, Russia on April 13 offered to take custody of Iran's enriched uranium, proposing to host or manage the material outside Iran. The Iranian ally says it is ready to revive earlier nuclear deal mechanisms with Tehran, including arrangements similar to those used under past agreements to ship out material. Russia previously played a significant role in the 2015 nuclear agreement, when Iran shipped its low-enriched uranium abroad as part of compliance measures. Handling the stockpile would restore Russia's influence in nuclear diplomacy. It would also expand Russia's Middle East relevance. Additionally, it would position Moscow as an unavoidable intermediary between US and Iran. China, another ally of Iran, is also open to storing or downblending the uranium stockpile, for example by diluting higher enriched uranium to lower, safer levels. Beijing's interest is tied to stability and energy security in the region, experts say, reflecting its dependence on Gulf energy supplies and investments in Iran. China has strategic and economic interest in the region. Beijing is Iran's largest trading partner. China is also Tehran's biggest buyer of Iranian oil. Beijing wants to keep energy flows stable through the Strait of Hormuz. The move would boost Beijing's diplomatic standing. It would also reinforce image as a stabilizing force in global crises. For Iran, surrendering its stockpile to anyone would be politically difficult, as per analysts, because the enriched uranium is portrayed domestically as a symbol of sovereignty and scientific achievement. Iran's enrichment capability has been portrayed as a symbol of technological progress. It is viewed as resistance to foreign pressure. Surrendering the stockpile to US would be difficult to defend domestically. The handover could be viewed internally as capitulation. Even if a political agreement was reached, physically extracting the material will be difficult, given the technical, security and safety challenges involved. Some uranium is believed to be stored in underground tunnels or damaged facilities near Isfahan, locations that are hard to access and potentially unstable. Retrieval would require excavation, secure transport, radiation precautions, and international verification, involving specialized equipment, escorts, and monitoring by nuclear watchdogs.
I can tell you that no enriched material is going to be shipped to United States. This is non-starter, and I can assure you that while we are ready to address any concerns that we do have, we are not going to accept things that they are non-starters. We are trying to secure a lasting peace, and lasting peace should be based on international law. United States cannot make Iran an exception in international law. We as a sovereign state are entitled to rights embedded in international regulations, and we are very much logical in our arguments that we are ready to address the concerns that possibly the other side have, but it should be in the framework of international law. And second, the other side also should understand and address our main concerns, which are illegal unilateral sanctions that Americans have imposed on Iranians, and this economic terrorism which have targeted Iranian people to suffocate them and make them to revolt against the political structure inside Iran. I can tell you that Iran has no option just to stop aggressors and once forever. We are defending. This was not our choice. This war was not our choice. It was unnecessary, unprovoked war of aggression started by Americans and Israelis in the middle of negotiation. And while they were just, conspiring behind the scene that, negotiations work well, and they were promising that there have been good and significant progress, then they started surprise assassinations. They assassinated the head of state, martyred standing our leader in his office, and off-duty commanders, not in situation room, not in front line, but also in their offices. So this shows to what extent we have to be very careful and being ready for any scenario.